This is Jarrod Horak, and this is my latest Kentucky Derby 2024 Contenders video. And in this video, I'm going to share my top 5 most likely Kentucky Derby winners. Now, I do this video every year, and it's usually popular, and hopefully one or more of my Kentucky Derby contenders that I mentioned in this video will run quality races on the first Saturday in May. If you're interested in reading my Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks reports, head on over to todaysracingdigest.com. When you get to that front page at the top near the left, you're going to see a Kentucky Derby tab. Click that tab, it'll take you over to the Digest Derby page, and there you'll be able to read all of my Oaks and Derby reports. Every Monday, I update the Oaks. Every Tuesday, I update the Derby. And then throughout the week, I post other Oaks and Derby related articles. If you're going to need past performances for the 2024 Kentucky Derby and the full card at Churchill, you can get those past performances Kentucky Derby week at todaysracingdigest.com as part of their Kentucky Derby Digest edition. And in addition to those past performances, you'll get race analysis, pace reports, performance ratings, early and late pace ratings, jockey and trainer stats, and much more. So head on over to todaysracingdigest.com for more details. I'm also going to be doing my annual Kentucky Derby Day full card at Churchill as part of my Triple Crown Series full cards that I do every year. And you can purchase that at todaysracingdigest.com or at my personal website, therunawayhorse.com, on my sales page. Now, if you go over to therunawayhorse.com and you go over to the sales page, you'll see my full card schedule. I'm going to be doing Kentucky Oaks Day full card at Churchill Downs this year, in addition to the Kentucky Derby Day full card. For Preakness Week, Black-Eyed Susan Day full card the day before the Preakness, and then Preakness Day full card as well. And then for the 4-day Belmont Stakes Festival at Saratoga later this spring, I'm going to cover full cards for all 4 days. You can go over to therunawayhorse.com on my sales page for more details. And right now, I finished my preliminary analysis for the Kentucky Derby. And if you purchase one of my products, I'll send you that preliminary analysis right away. And then after post positions are drawn, I'll finish my Kentucky Derby analysis, and then I'll get those Oaks and Derby Day full cards done early in the week for Derby Week as well. And I've had a lot of success over the years with my Kentucky Derby Day, Preakness, and Belmont Stakes Day full cards. And you can see my results at therunawayhorse.com. Or if you just want to send me a message, if you go over to my website, hit contact me, and you can send me a message if you want to know more about my Triple Crown Series products. And now we'll get into the top 5 most likely Kentucky Derby winners for 2024. And we'll start with Forever Young. He's coming in from Japan with a perfect 5-for-5 record. His first 3 career starts he won in Japan. And then he shipped to Saudi Arabia for the Grade 3 Saudi Cup at 1 mile around 1 turn. And he was able to rally from off the pace and win that race. Probably too short for him. He wants more ground than that. And he did get more ground in the Grade 2 UAE Derby at Meydan on March 30th. That was for the Dubai World Cup undercard that day. And that was a Kentucky Derby points race. And he was able to win that race. He stalked wide. You had a horse that had a good trip up front, and he was able to run down that horse and win that race. Now they purposely had that wide trip and kept him out in the clear stalking the pace because he doesn't like kickback. And we'll have to see in a 20-horse field on the Kentucky Derby if he can avoid that. So obviously his 5-for-5 record must be respected. He's coming off of nice wins in the Saudi Derby and the UAE Derby. And if you look at his thoroughgraph numbers from those 2 races, definitely stack up well with the Kentucky Derby contenders this year. It's just what kind of race is he going to be able to run? He had a slow 6-furlong workout. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the kickback more than anything else. And then also the UAE Derby has not been a productive race. 19 horses have tried to win the Kentucky Derby after running in the UAE Derby, and none of those horses finished in the top 3. He's got some things to overcome for sure, but he definitely has some talent. He's got enough positional speed to keep the leaders in his sights. My 4th most likely Kentucky Derby winner this year is Catching Freedom for trainer Brad Cox. Flavien Prat is going to ride, and Prat hasn't had a lot of Derby mounts over the years, but when he gets those Derby mounts, they typically run well, finishing somewhere in the top 3. So that's Prat always puts his horses in good spots and gives them every chance to succeed. So I'd expect that he's going to do the same thing with Catching Freedom in here. Now this is a son of Constitution, and his dam sire, Pioneer of the Nile, was my Kentucky Derby horse when he ran in the Derby, and he ended up finishing 2nd in the Derby. So this one, I'm not concerned too much about the distance, and I like his overall record, and I like the fact that he has proven that he can handle Churchill Downs. In his career debut, he won at Churchill Downs, a maiden special weight event, and then his second start at Churchill, he ended up finishing fourth. But then after that, he's run well in 3 Kentucky Derby points races this year. The Smarty Jones Stakes at Oaklawn on January 1st, he won that race, and then the Grade 2 Risen Star on a wet track. Sierra Leone won that one, and he ended up finishing a solid third that day. And then the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby last time, he outclosed Honor Marie to win by a length. And Honor Marie is one of my live long shots for the Kentucky Derby, and you can watch that video on my YouTube channel. But this one for the 5 most likely Derby winners, I think that Catching Freedom is one of the 5 most likely winners. Nice effort last time in that Louisiana Derby, and you just know that Flavien Prat is going to put this one in a good spot. Now, he closed from last place to win the Louisiana Derby, but he doesn't need to be that far back. So I would think that Flavien Prat will just see how fast the pace is, and he'll put him where he needs to and give him every chance to succeed. If he's good enough, he should run a quality race. He seems to be training well, coming up to the race in good order. My third most likely Kentucky Derby winner this year is Just a Touch, another Brad Cox trainee. And Florent Giroux is his rider, and he's very lightly raced. He's an unraced 2-year-old, so he didn't race as a 2-year-old, but we've seen a couple horses that did not race as 2-year-olds win the Kentucky Derby since 2018, when Justify, an unraced 2-year-old, won the Triple Crown that year. And then last year, Mage, a lightly raced, unraced 2-year-old, won the Kentucky Derby. So Just a Touch is one that he's run well in all 3 starts. Justify is his sire, and I mentioned that Justify won the Derby very lightly raced. And then Tappet is the dam sire, so he should get some stamina and that good combination of speed and stamina from that pedigree. And he does have good positional speed. In his career debut at Fairgrounds, he was really good that day, winning, getting a nice speed rating. And then in his second career start in the Gotham Stakes, a 1-turn mile, I made him my top choice there. And Deterministic had a better trip than he did. They were both stalking the pace, but Deterministic was able to save some more ground. Just a Touch stalking wide. He was just second there, a solid enough effort. The Grade 1 Bluegrass Stakes last time out at Keeneland at 1 mile and an eighth, only his third career start and first start around 2 turns. He stalked the pace, he led, he had a nice lead in the stretch, but Sierra Leone, one of the top Kentucky Derby win contenders this year, was able to run him down and win that race. But good effort from Just a Touch. In his third career start, clearly second best to one of the top 3-year-olds in the country. And he's one that should work out a good tactical trip. His best races should be in front of him, and he is one of the more likely Kentucky Derby winners this year. My second most likely Kentucky Derby winner this year is Fierceness. He's your favorite. He's your 2-year-old champion. City of Light, the sire. Stay Thirsty, the dam sire. For this one, Todd Pletcher's the trainer. He's won the Kentucky Derby a couple times, but Todd Pletcher always has a lot of Kentucky Derby horses, and a lot of them run below expectations in the Derby. We'll have to see if Fierceness is able to run a good race. He's certainly the horse to beat. He's the fastest horse on paper. John Velasquez is his rider, and he's won the Kentucky Derby 3 times. This horse has run a total of 5 times, and he was outstanding in his 3 wins. And then in his 2 losses, he wasn't that good. He was excellent in his debut at Saratoga, Running Away last year. That was last summer. His second career start in the Champagne Stakes, I picked him that day, did not have a good start, and he was never able to recover, and he finished 7th there. The Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he was a horse that I liked. I didn't make him my top choice, but he was one of my contenders there, and he was able to win that race convincingly over Muth. And Muth has won this year the Arkansas Derby, and he's one of the favorites for the Preakness Stakes. But Fierceness was outstanding in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile, chasing the pace, taking over, and winning by more than 6 lengths. He made his first start this year as the heavy favorite in the Grade 3 Holy Bull Stakes at Gulfstream. Again, just like the Champagne, did not have a great start there, and he ended up finishing 3rd. Hades from the inside post was able to control the pace. They were going 25, 50. They were slow fractions for Gulfstream Park. And Hades from that inside post saved all the ground, all over the pace. Fierceness had the slow start. He was wide early. He came after Hades, and he ended up finishing 3rd there. Now, Domestic Product was 2nd, and Domestic Product would go on to win the Tampa Bay Derby. And then Fierceness was able to win the Florida Derby convincingly. He just dominated that race. Another big dominating performance where he got out there and he was able to work out a good early pressing trip, and he just ran away with it. So that's what they want to do in the Kentucky Derby. I think what they want for Fierceness is for him to be all over the pace. He doesn't need the lead, but he needs to get into a good early pressing rhythm, and they probably want him to break from an outer post. They don't want to have to hustle him from an inner post. If they can get a nice, comfortable outer post and get a good start and get him into the race, I think he's probably the horse to beat. He's the fastest horse on paper, but I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have a great start, that he just finishes nowhere either. So he's one of those horses that can run away with the Kentucky Derby, or he could finish up the track. And now finally, my most likely Kentucky Derby winner, the horse that I've had as my top-ranked Derby contender since early February, is Sierra Leone for trainer Chad Brown. They paid $2.3 million for this son of Gunrunner, and Gunrunner ran in the Kentucky Derby. He ended up finishing third. Malibu Moon is the dam sire. Tyler Gaffalione is the pilot, and this horse has a big late kick. So his big claim to fame is sitting back and making a big late run. So he's one that if the Derby pace heats up, he should be right there. He started in a one-turn mile at Aqueduct in his career debut last November, and he won that race. It's probably too short for him, but he won anyway. And then his second career start, the Grade 2 Remsen Stakes, that was a wet, speed-favoring track, and Dornoch was able to get out there and be up on the pace. Sierra Leone tried to rally and be a closing winner that day. Now, 7 of the 10 races that day were won by horses that were setting the pace. And Dornoch was able to turn away Sierra Leone after he took the lead, and he came back and he won by a nose. And that was Sierra Leone's only career defeat. And his first start this year was in the Risen Star Stakes in February. He rallied to win that one on a wet track. The Bluegrass Stakes last time, he was able to defeat Just a Touch, run off from the back of the pack, finish nicely, and win that race convincingly. So his speed ratings are slowly climbing up. He definitely fits on Thorograph numbers in any speed ratings that you're looking at. Fierceness is the fastest horse in all the speed ratings, but Sierra Leone's not that far behind. He's only run 4 times, and he's only been defeated once, just missing by a nose. It looks like a mile and a quarter should be right up his alley, and if he can get an honest pace and a good clean trip, he's certainly one of the more likely Kentucky Derby winners this year. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment if you like this horse racing content, and keep checking my YouTube channel. As we get closer to the Kentucky Derby, I'm going to keep posting new videos each day on the road to the Kentucky Derby. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.